A reading from the book of the prophet Ezekiel. Thus says the Lord, You son of man, I have appointed watchmen for the house of Israel. When you hear me say anything, you shall warn them for me. If I tell the wicked, O wicked one, you shall surely die, and you do not speak out to dissuade the wicked from his way, the wicked shall die for his guilt, but I will hold you responsible for his death. But if you warn the wicked, trying to turn him from his way, and he refuses to turn from his way, he shall die for his guilt, but you shall save yourself. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
I remember the first time that I babysat my siblings. Actually, I don't really remember it, but I imagine it this way. I imagine that I was about 10 years old, and I was probably really, really bossy. A little 10-year-old child dictator, authoritarian, just a terror. And it could be because I was a jerk, but more than likely it was because I was nervous about supervising my siblings. And I was worried that they were going to do something stupid and hurt themselves, and then my parents were going to be mad at me. So I kept an eye on them. I followed them wherever they went. I told them, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. So again, it's very bossy. So when I thought about this tale, for some reason that image came into my mind. Someone walking around and saying, don't do this, don't do that. But I think a watchman is a little bit more than just a bossy 10-year-old babysitter. In fact, I did a little research on it, and it was much like what I expected. So watchmen in ancient times, and even through the Middle Ages, and perhaps even today, is a very important position. They sat up on the walls that surrounded a city. So if you go to Europe or the Middle East, you'll notice that most of the cities are surrounded by walls. I've never been there, but I've looked at pictures. And then you have a man sitting up on there, and he would be looking out over the valley to see if anybody was coming towards the city. And if they appeared to be dangerous, he would shout out or blow a horn or ring a bell or do something to inform the people of what's going on. But he also would occasionally turn his head inward and look at the city and see what was going on. So watchmen both knew what was going on outside the city as well as what was going on inside the city. And it could be a dangerous job. You're sitting up there on the wall, easy for people to see. They could take a shot at you with an arrow or throw a spear at you. So you did it knowing that you're laying down your life for the people in the village. And we all are called to be like that, to lay down our lives for those that are near us, around us, our neighbors. Our neighbors could be the people sitting next to us right now in choir stalls. They could be people that live next to us. They could be our spouse. They could be our siblings. People maybe you supervise at work. You're called to be a watchman for them. Lay down your life for them and ensure that they can get to heaven. For we cannot get to heaven alone. We need other people to help us along the way. And we're responsible for their salvation as well. So the ultimate example of a watchman is Jesus Christ. I mean, look at him. He stretched out there on the cross. He laid down his life. He made it possible for us to get to heaven. Through his sacrifice, his death and resurrection, we have that hope. So, how can we pay this forward? How can we pay this sacrifice forward and be watchmen for our brothers and sisters? Well, I have 5 easy methods, or five easy ways. First of all, pray. Pray a little, pray a lot, just pray. So pray for those people that are sitting next to you in the choir stalls. It could be something as simple as an Our Father or a Hail Mary. It could be a rosary. If you're really adventurous, it could be a novena. Anything that can help them get closer to God. Secondly, model a Christian life. So this is the best way, one of the easiest ways to show people what it means to be a Christian is to live out a Christian life. Prayer is very, very important. It's a good thing. But oftentimes we do this in private, so people don't see what we're doing, which is a good thing, perhaps. But it could be how you ride the shuttle. I know in years past I've been guilty of complaining about professors or the brothers or other things to another brother on the bus, but what do the people behind me think? I'm dressed like this and I'm complaining and saying he's a dirty son of a gun and he's a terrible teacher, etc. What does that say about me? Or last year, when I was in my pastoral year, I ran to the grocery store in my habit, and I probably had the world's slowest checkout person ever. The best part was, it was the 10 items or less aisle, and I sat there for 15 minutes waiting to get up to the checkout person. And it really took a lot of self-control for me not to complain to somebody that I had to wait so long to check out. So, model a good life. Be on time for where you're going. Be pleasant. Be polite. Be friendly. Be kind to people and let them go first, so go into the door. Something simple like that. Help people out. Show volunteerism. The next one is correct. Probably the most difficult, but we can't be afraid to correct each other. When I was a coach, one of the things I was instructed to do was correct athletes when they had bad technique. It wasn't because I was a jerk. It was because I wanted them to perform well and not to hurt themselves. Likewise, if I say I want to go wander down some alleyway in St. Louis at 11 o'clock at night, I would hope someone would tell me not to do that. It's dangerous. You can't do that sort of thing. Or if I say I'm going to do something and it's just not wise, whether it be a sinful action or something that just would not be a wise thing to do, I would hope someone would correct me. Next one is encourage. Tell people what they're doing that's right. I had in-services when I was a teacher on this. Catch the students doing good things. Encourage them, compliment them. So if you see a brother that's did a wonderful job preaching, maybe you could tell him good job if he actually did a good job. Or if they served well, they sang well, they prayed well, they really are doing a good job, compliment them on that. And lastly, invite. Invite people to events. So this could be your family members. Maybe they don't go to church very often, but you invite them. Or to adoration, or prayer, or to do an activity of service. So reach out to them and encourage them to come with us. And if we do these small things, hopefully, at the end of the age, we'll know that our actions helped encourage them and their growth as Christians. So God calls us in love to serve Him by looking out for our neighbor's well-being. In Matthew 22:37 through 40, in the Great Commandment, Jesus says to the man that asked him the question, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself." So we're called to put forth our love and show our love for our neighbor by helping them in the journey to heaven. So go out there and get after it.